home here. Been met in this building in a while, so it's good to be back. So call the meeting to order, and Miss Lindsay, if you would open us in prayer.
Okay. Dear Lord, thank you for this beautiful day that you've given us, and thank you for the recent rain that we've gotten. Bless all of those who are here tonight, and bless all of our Baldwin County family. We ask you a special prayer for those students and families of ones we have lost, and we hope that you will bless them and comfort them in their time of need. We ask all these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. No, Chaz, we don't have any letters of commendation, correct? All right. And we'll move on to the approval of minutes from the May 19th regular meeting. Trust everyone's had an opportunity to read and go over those.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion from Ms. Colley, a second from Mr. Christenberry. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. We have no delegations here. The auditor is not here. All right. So, Ms. Chyler, we'll move on to any amendments to the agenda.
Yes, ma'am. Excuse me. Amendments to the agenda. Amend number 10, leave of absence of personnel. Number 11, retirement and resignations of personnel. Number 12, transfer intent to transfer of personnel. Number 13, employment of personnel. Number 14, extra work for extended periods. Number 15, approval of proposed 2020-2021 proposed salary schedule. Add number 17, approval of contract Franklin Covey. That's it.
All right. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve from Ms. Colley.
Second.
Second from Ms. Lindsay. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Into the action items, please.
Yes, ma'am. Agenda item 1, bid extensions. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the bid extensions for goods and services for the system as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So move.
Motion from Mr. Christenberry, second from Mr. Johnson. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 2, budget amendment number 2, FY 2020. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to authorize the board president and superintendent to approve and submit the appropriate 2019-2020 budget amendment to the State Department of Education in order to meet the requirements of the Code of Alabama as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So moved.
Motion, Ms. Colley. Second from Mr. Johnson. Anyone have any questions, any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Agenda item 3, Fairhope 3 Mill Commission recommendation. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the recommendation of the Fairhope Special Tax District 9 Committee as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So move.
Motion, Mr. Christenberry.
Second.
Second, Ms. Lindsay. Any questions, any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 4, Spanish Fort 3 Mill Commission recommendation. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the recommendation of the Spanish Fort Special Tax District 7 Committee as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So moved.
Motion, Ms. Colley.
Second.
Second, Ms. Lindsay. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Agenda item 5, Child Nutrition Program K-12 meal price increase for school year 2020-2021. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve increasing breakfast and lunch meal prices by 25 cents for grades K-12 to allow the Child Nutrition Program to comply with USDA requirements to increase the price of paid meals as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
Motion from Mr. Johnson,
Second.
second Mr. Christenberry. Any questions or discussion?
That's required.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I hate that it seems like we have to do this
Oh,
in the
I know-
middle of the
no.
pandemic when everybody, it just seems like a horrible time to do it, but I don't think we have very much choice in the matter.
Coordinator and we
Right.
don't.
We don't. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 6, dissemination of revised board policies, sexual harassment 5.17, and Title IX 6.10 and 6.12. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the dissemination of revised board policies 5.17, 6.10, and 6.12 to local schools and organizations for input as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So moved.
Motion from Ms. Colley,
Second.
second Ms. Lindsay. Are there any questions, any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 7, dissemination of 2020-2021 Parent and Student Handbook Code of Conduct. Superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the dissemination of the Parent and Student Handbook Student Code of Conduct 2020-2021 to local schools and organizations for input as stipulated herein.
So move.
Motion, Ms. Lindsay.
Second.
Second, Mr. Christenberry. Any questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Agenda item 8, approval of introduction of media arts course fee. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the $20 course fee for introduction of media arts as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So moved.
Motion from Ms. Colley,
Second.
second from Ms. Lindsay. Any questions or discussion?
What is that?
Media
What
art.
is that course? Taught in high school?
Yes, it's a new course that they've added. You know, many of our schools can choose what art courses, and this is a new one that they've chosen, so we have a fee that goes along with it.
Taught in every high school?
No, sir. You know, they have their choices in the high schools as to what art, according to what personnel that they have, what fine arts classes they choose. So it could be offered in every school. They have that opportunity, but schools make those decisions.
And I believe, correct me, Renee, but or Marty, but the $20 is usually is really for consumables. A lot of the materials they buy. Right.
Any other questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Agenda item 9, agreement with Baldwin County Commission regarding use of facilities as emergency mass care shelters. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the agreement as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
Motion from Mr. Johnson,
Second.
second from Ms. Lindsay. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Agenda item 10, leaves of absence of personnel. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the leave of absence of personnel as amended and provided to board members under separate cover.
So move.
Motion from Mr. Christenberry,
Second.
second Ms. Colley. Any questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Agenda item 11, retirement and resignations of personnel. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the retirement and resignations of personnel as amended and provided to board members under separate cover.
So move.
Motion from Ms. Lindsay,
Second.
A second, Mr. Christenberry. Any questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Agenda item 12, transfer, intent to transfer personnel. Superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the transfer, intent to transfer of personnel as amended and provided to board members under separate cover.
Do I
So-
hear a motion?
So move.
Motion for Ms. Colley.
Second.
Second, Mr. Christenberry. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
And the motion carries.
Agenda item 13, employment of personnel. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the employment of personnel as amended and provided to board members under separate cover.
So moved.
Motion from Ms. Lindsay. Second from Mr. Johnson. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Agenda item 14, extra work for extended periods. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the extra work of personnel as amended and provided to board members under separate cover.
So move.
Motion from Ms. Colley.
Second.
Second from Mr. Christenberry. Any questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Agenda item 15, approval of 2020-2021 proposed salary schedules. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the proposed 2020-2021 salary schedules as amended and stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So move.
Motion from Ms. Colley.
Second.
Second from Ms. Lindsay. Any questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
The motion carries.
Agenda item 16, 2020-2021 revised extra work wages. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the revised 2020-2021 extra work wages as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So move.
Motion from Mr. Christenberry. Second, Mr. Johnson. Any questions or discussion? Not. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Agenda item 17, approval of contract Franklin Covey. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the contract to be paid with federal Title I funds as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So move.
I have a motion from Ms. Colley.
Second.
Second, Mr. Christenberry. Is there any discussion or questions?
What is this? I've never seen this before.
I know you've heard of, I know Franklin Covey.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm aware of
I can,
what they stand for.
yeah, I can give you a little rundown. We're using the CARE Act money. There's a whole section in that with the, I just pulled it up. It says addressing students' learning gaps resulting from disruption in the educational services during this time. It goes over the leadership, the culture, and the academic piece of bringing our students and adults back into the building after, they've been through this. So that's a piece of it. The other piece is what we talked about on Tuesday night about being able to help the schools that are already in with purchasing the manuals and then with purchasing contract hours so that, say, you've got a Pine Grove or somebody that's just barely being able to meet their membership contract if they've had a slim year, like the COVID year.
I mean, you're talking about the Leader in Me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Those are materials and supplies that we're purchasing to be able to do two things with. Number one, for the CARE Act of the emotional social part that it provides, and then also to have those materials in those professional development days that we can, like I said, help schools in any way we can when they're coming in, because it is a very expensive endeavor, especially for schools that don't receive Title I funds. Most of our Leader in Me schools are Title I schools. So you have a non-title school that meets the membership requirement, we'll be able to help them with their manuals for the 7 Habits training and some of the other training. A training session could be like $3,000. So we'll be able to help them. We were able to, the way they have this contract set up, we can purchase services ahead of time. So we'll have 125 days that we can use ever how long it takes us to use them.
But this will be the first school that will actually go through this program.
Oh, no, this is to help either schools that are already in it or schools that are thinking about coming in it. The contract is for the manuals and the service. I don't know why they call it a contract, why it had to be.
One school.
But it's speaking of Florence Mathis in here.
Okay, are we talking
Right,
about two
that's-
different things? Because I thought it was the contract that we talked about on the CARES Act.
I think this was to
No, this-
put the
this
Leader
is
in Me
Franklin
in,
Covey providing
in
professional
Mathis.
Okay, well,
Florence
sorry.
Excuse
me.
You know, the 7 habits, you got
Right.
back to that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I like the concept,
yeah,
but I don't like the people who put it in place.
Okay.
It didn't start with Franklin, it started with Stephen.
right, and he's no longer
He
with
was
us. Mm-hmm.
a failure to start with because he was pushing a certain type of religion. That's the problem I have with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I did like the concept, but I don't agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm sorry for, I thought we were talking about the CARES Act and what was on Tuesday night, so I'm sorry that
I
I,
was just wondering, because I
Yeah.
have not seen this before.
yeah,
This contract is additional services over and above what the county is going to provide with the CARE Acts directly for Mathis using their Title I funds.
I got you.
Is it like a pilot program?
No, it's not. It's
No,
part of the program, and for some reason, we have to, anytime there's a contract that a school enters into, we have to get board approval. So she's
And-
paying for
And
it.
because this is a new school.
Yeah, but
we're
she's
bringing,
going into
you
it
know,
as a new school.
They've had
You're
it at
correct.
Foley Elementary.
That's
And
correct.
since that school is
You're bringing
splitting,
members of 2 faculties together.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we felt
Yeah.
it was a good idea.
Because
Yeah.
Mathis Elementary was formerly just Foley Intermediate.
Yeah,
So now,
yeah,
the 2 faculties are combined,
Yeah.
and it's a K-6 school.
yeah.
and don't all of our Title I schools have it?
The very small ones like Delta and Stapleton and even Swift does, but Delta and Staple are only 2.
Not this program.
Yes, sir, the Leader in Me.
No, well, see,
Talking
this
about
is
the
not the
Franklin
leader
Covey
in me,
right
though.
there.
This is.
That's just
this
the
is
way I
not-
think it's listed. They listed, don't they list it as Franklin Covey Leader in Me?
It just says Franklin Covey.
It just
but
says
it's
Franklin
the
Covey. It's the
same
same thing.
company.
It's the same thing.
So it's the leader in me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He still has his name on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's for a special workshop directly at that school that she wanted to spend her title funds for.
Yeah. Is everybody confused?
I'm
Can I do
not.
anything else to
I'm not.
confuse
I'll
you
tell
more?
you,
How else can I help you?
I am so impressed with the kids when I go into these Leader in Me schools
Yeah,
that I wish we could have it in every school. And I hate that we don't have it in every school. I think it's very beneficial, and I look forward to the day that we can put it in all of our schools.
well, back to what I originally
Yeah.
thought. The CARES Act is going to help. help that.
4-year-olds away in our K-4 program.
Yeah.
You know, it's the only thing that the state of Alabama's done that got any kind of award. Everything else has been a joke. They don't fully fund it, and we turn kids away. And you can track them, and, you can get all the guided reading you want to get, but you're already down the road and you're already in trouble. When you put these kids in a program like that, you spend tons of money, you need to put it on the front end and build the foundation. But there again, doesn't happen.
So this program we're voting on now is for the teachers.
It's a training workshop, I believe, for the teachers at that new facility.
Yeah, it would be something I'm assuming the teachers would use to benefit the students.
Thank you, staff.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'll say
I was
this.
gonna
So
say.
what it is culture continuation. So with the split, Foley Elementary already had the program. So those kids who will now transition to Mathis, they won't have to go without. They'll have parallel programming in both schools, and this helps facilitate the same programs in both schools, which is part of the promise that we made when we said we were going to open Mathis. We wanted both schools to have
Yeah.
the same opportunities and no one to miss out.
I got all that.
Thank you.
I just wanted to help the staff.
Thank you.
I tried to.
Any other questions?
Maybe I'll be allowed to one day.
Me.
Yeah, I know, we're- All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Motion carries.
That's all I have, Ms. Dawson.
Right? Anything else? I would say we don't have any questions. Thank you all for being here. And let me just say, too, since, the discussions come up, early on, for those of you who, perhaps don't attend regularly, although most of you do, I see, and anyone out there in digital world, there's a great deal of discussion, questions with the staff that go on at our work sessions prior to our board meetings on Thursday. So if you're listening in or perhaps seeing this for the first time and you think, well, they don't really talk about a lot, please understand, and our work sessions are, of course, always public and you're welcome anytime, but our work sessions are always devoted to discussions and questions that go to the superintendent as well as to the staff to clarify anything that might be on the agenda or just anything that happens to come up that we want to discuss that evening. The work sessions do tend to be a little bit longer meeting than the board meetings are, but with that discussions and those questions having already been answered, when you come to the board meeting, you have a tendency to look and say, my goodness, they just fly through the agenda. Please understand we're not negligent in our duties and we're really very responsible about trying to make sure that we totally understand, which is why we have other discussion and questions even at the board, at this table. So please come to the work sessions if you'd like to. Just understand they're longer.
I'll just add that the board gets the agenda the Friday or Thursday now before the Tuesday night work session. The board has an opportunity to review the agenda, to call me, ask questions, call any of my staff, and then Tuesday nights on work sessions, like Ms. Dawson said, generally it's discussed or we have answered some of the questions or concerns of the board by phone calls. So, we have very productive work sessions. Our board's very engaged. So, that's usually at our board meetings. That's why things generally are handled in the manner they are handled. And sometimes questions do come up. So thank you, Ms. Dawson. That's all I have. Yeah.
All right. That's all we have. Then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. And our meeting is adjourned.